What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So, coming off the heels of Crawford versus Postal, covered the fight live. Freddie ROACH has some things to say, and I want to talk to you guys about it in this particular video. Now, Freddie ROACH said a matchup between his other fighter, Manny Pacquiao, and Terence Crawford, it's a very tough matchup. Crawford showed that he can move for 12 rounds, he can run for 12 rounds, but you know, in between those running and so forth, when he does land punches, he does land really powerful punches. He hurt my guy a lot, referring to Postal. I know Postal's got a pretty good chin. He also said, so Crawford's a pretty good puncher. He hits hard and he moves very well and he emulates Floyd Mayweather quite a bit, I think. I think he's like a young Mayweather right now. Then this is where it gets interesting. Freddie ROACH goes on to say, you know what, with Manny in the Senate and I have to go to the Philippines and so forth to train him, and with all the confusion going on, I don't think I'm going to accept that fight or want that fight right away. I mean, give me one warm-up fight and give me a fight right after that and we can talk. So, you guys heard it first from Freddie ROACH. He's saying if it were up to him, which I don't know how much of it is, that he wouldn't want the Terence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao fight. And the thing that is concerning with Team Pacquiao is you always hear different things. Bob Arum will be tuning a certain tune. Freddie ROACH, Michael Conks, Pacquiao, they're all saying different things. I believe Bob Arum and Pacquiao said they believe he beat Mayweather. And then Freddie ROACH said, hey, my guy lost. Then they say, Bob Arum says Terence Crawford is in the running to face Pacquiao. Then Michael Conks says Terence Crawford has never been in the running, right? Then Bob Arum just said recently, I did a video about it, make sure you guys check it on the channel, that Pacquiao said yes to Terence Crawford, and Freddie ROACH is saying, I don't want that fight. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's very chaotic when it comes to them because you don't really know who to trust. Whose word should you trust when you're hearing polar opposite things? As far as the fight, it's a great fight. It's a fight that I would want. And I think it's kind of ridiculous that Pacquiao is held to a different standard than some other elite fighters like Mayweather. Like that's his contemporary, so we use Mayweather. And Mayweather, he has to fight Gennady Golovkin at 160. They wanted him to fight Sergio Martinez. They pushed him to fight Canelo, which he did when Canelo was an undefeated champion. But when Pacquiao, who jumped up all these weight divisions, 3 more divisions than Mayweather, they're both guys that are smaller than welterweight. But when he jumps up, then there's a ceiling. When he's accomplished enough or whatever people perceive as enough, he doesn't have to go up and fight Canelo. You don't really hear people say that. Sometimes you even hear people say, oh, Canelo's too big. But Mayweather had to fight him, and Pacquiao is considered the aggressive puncher out of the two. You know what I mean? One's considered some people even go as far as saying Mayweather's a runner. So why would you not want to see the action star fight Canelo, right? And then when it comes to Terence Crawford, that's a good stylistic matchup. I don't know who I would pick at the moment. Maybe leaning towards Crawford. I've seen him live twice, covered his fights twice, but it's no easy fight. And Floyd Mayweather recently said that, I believe, too. Like, Pacquiao's tricky. Pacquiao's a hell of a fighter. He's an elite level fighter. He's more accomplished than Terence Crawford, a lot of experience, and it's a great fight. So I don't really understand why Freddie ROACH wouldn't be up for this type of challenge, because in the grand scheme of things, his fighter carries a lot of experience. And he has a lot of attributes that could hurt or offset a guy like Terence Crawford. Vice versa, Terence Crawford has a lot of attributes that could hurt or make Pacquiao look bad, right? That's why we want to see it as a fight. But I don't see why he wouldn't have confidence in his particular fighter to get that done. They're both on the same network, HBO. They're both with the same promoter. So I really don't see any obstacles other than the parties involved why that fight couldn't get made. And I think it's a great fight for boxing. If ever there was a time that Terence Crawford deserved it, it would be now. Before, they were talking about he's in the Pacquiao sweepstakes after the Thierry Jean performance, which was a great performance, but that was a guy that already lost to Lamont Peterson. Right now, Crawford, when I watched this and witnessed it, he beat a guy who was undefeated, who was taller than him, longer reach than him, and was considered equivalent or equal in the same breath of pure boxer or good fighter. They were the best at 140. So, you know what I mean? Coming off of a dominant performance like that, it's just, I think the time is now. And instead of waiting, I mean, why would we want to see Jesse Vargas stylistically versus a Terence Crawford. I just don't want to see it. And Team Pacquiao goes on record saying, oh, Pacquiao's a small guy, which he is. He's not a big welterweight like Kell Brook or something, who's moving up to 160. But if he's so small and Freddie Roach says, hey, I want my guy to go back down to 140, there you have a mega fight. You say Pacquiao performs better at 140 because that's his natural weight. Terence Crawford is a unified 140-pound champion, and there's no one with common sense or credible writers or YouTube channels that's going to say there's another person out there right now at 140 that's better than Terence Crawford. So why not make that fight at 140? You know what I mean? And even if it was at 47, Crawford would probably, because he rehydrates a good amount, he'd probably go up to 147 if need be. But either way, that's the particulars. I just want to see the fight in general, and I think it's a good fight. So it's weird to hear Freddie Roach. It sounds like a lack of confidence. You're talking about your elite level fighter needs a tune-up. I understand if it was like Sammy Vasquez Jr. and he's saying, hey, I want a tune-up fight with Felix Diaz before I fight Errol Spence Jr. or something like that, because he's still considered in the prospect stage. And you see, he just took his first career loss to Felix Diaz, a guy with Olympic gold. But when you look at Terence Crawford, he's actually, as a professional, he's less accomplished than Manny Pacquiao. He's a great fighter, but he's not somebody who has more experience or like a Cotto Mayweather level of experience where it's equivalent. You know what I mean? The names Pacquiao has faced are far greater. If you beat De La Hoya, Cotto, Ricky Hatton, and all these guys, Sugar Shane Mosley, then why not fight a Terence Crawford? Because he doesn't carry that. He's a skillful fighter, like I keep saying, but he doesn't carry that same type of experience. So, I mean, you took the risk in all those other fights, jumping up 2 weight divisions to fight De La Hoya as he came down one. Why not fight Terence Crawford? And I think it's because they know it's a bad stylistic matchup. But nonetheless, it's an even fight where both fighters could win. I think the fact that Terence Crawford is a switch hitter is what really is troubling, because he arguably performs better as a southpaw. And going in against another southpaw like Manny Pacquiao, who's clearly not as fundamentally sound. He's unorthodox and awkward, but he's not fundamentally sound. That could pose Pacquiao a lot of problems, because some of those southpaw punches against another southpaw is not going to be as effective as opposed to like a Mayweather. So I think Terence Crawford has a real strong chance to pull a spoiler. And even if he lost to Pacquiao, I think Pacquiao wouldn't look good in that win. Like, even if he stopped Terence Crawford, I don't think Pacquiao would look good up until the moment that happened, right? And that's just hypothetical. But right now, based on the current juncture, I think Crawford, style-wise, he has a lot of momentum, and he's a far cry from Timothy Bradley. Again, you got to look at the particulars. Bradley had 3 chances 3 times in the ring. That's 36 minutes times 3 with Pacquiao. So, I mean, if you keep fighting the same guys, you're bound to find little quirks and stylistic things that they do and like hints. That's how Marquez, he said he was able to knock Pacquiao out, because he had been in there with him and he knew Pacquiao would do this one feint, and then he came up with that miracle right hand when he needed it. And I don't say lucky punch because I don't believe in lucky punches, but that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. Terence Crawford versus Pacquiao, good fight. Doesn't look like Freddie Roach wants it. I think Bob Arum wants it, because if either way, he'll win. If Pacquiao rides off into the sunset or gets retired by Crawford or something, then he has a brand new star in Terence Crawford he can easily mark. But I don't know about Team Pacquiao. It doesn't seem like they want it, according to Freddie Roach and Michael Conks. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.